that you can use to better inform your wagering decisions. Thank you for joining us this evening. We're going to go over a couple games from this weekend's football NFL slate, and we're going to be going over the college parlay that I'll be putting in tonight. We talked a little bit about it already on the last Big Data show on Tuesday, but I'll be giving it out again as some of the numbers have improved since we've last spoken. If you want to get 20% off any BetQL subscription, use the promo code CHAN, my last name. Go to betql.co for more information. Go check out the site. You'll gain access to the model. And this 20% deal applies to a weekly, monthly, annual, one sport, two sport, all sport, any VIP plan. So go ahead and use the promo code CHAN if you want to go subscribe to BetQL and get 20% off. The college parlay that we'll be putting in for tomorrow is LSU minus 14, Kansas State, taking the points with them at plus 9.5, and laying the points with Florida at minus 5. LSU is facing Missouri. LSU was originally a 20.5 point favorite for much of the week. The line has moved in Missouri's direction because the game's not going to be played in Baton Rouge due to some serious weather conditions and hurricane issues. I don't think the move is going to impact LSU very much. I think they covered this game fairly easily. As we talked about the other day, Myles Brennan has gotten off to a great start as LSU's quarterback following Joe Burrow, and Missouri has been a dumpster fire. Kansas State is a 9.5 point underdog against TCU. The health of Skylar Thompson, the last time I checked, was still in doubt. I think if Thompson plays, Kansas State is going to win this game outright, or at least come close to it. And even if he doesn't play, they're going to be in a position to cover this game. We went over some stats and data from the last show that indicated that TCU is not a team that has won by significant margins in Big 12 play in the last over the last two seasons. So I think it's prudent to go take the points with Kansas State and don't worry so much about Thompson playing or not. And I think you can lay the points with Florida. The line has actually moved in Texas A&M's direction, which is surprising to me given how much Kellen Mond has struggled in these spots against, or at least how Texas A&M has struggled in these spots against elite SEC competition, against top 10 SEC competition during the Kellen Mond era. This has been a spot where they have not only lost, but lost big and failed to come close to covering. So I think that's going to be I think this parlay is going to hit. We're starting to run incredibly well in the college football right now. We scooped on the Georgia Tech Louisville game today. We went with a wager on the over. We scooped on yesterday's Tulane Houston game. We also bet the over in that game. So we're running well in college football. We'll see how well if we're still running well tomorrow. I'll be placing individual wagers on each of these games, and I'll be parlaying them as well. So hopefully our hot streak continues through tomorrow. The first game that we're going to review is the Sunday Night Football game between the Vikings and the Seahawks. The Seahawks are 7-point favorites. The over-under is set at 57 points. If you had checked out BetQL before the NFL season started, you would have possibly seen an article from me about the Vikings and Kirk Cousins. I previewed them a little bit before this season started. The Vikings are obviously off to a rough start on the season. They didn't pick up their first win last Sunday, but Kirk Cousins has some significant idiosyncrasies. He's struggled whenever he's had to play a game that didn't start at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sundays, and he's going to be playing on the West Coast on a prime time game. So you're going to hear a lot about Kirk Cousins' struggles in prime time and away from his standard pattern at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I mean, in three of Minnesota's five losses last season, they weren't 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kickoffs. So I would expect Cousins' struggles to continue in this game. The only question is whether or not the Seahawks are going to be able to cover this spread. The Seahawks are not a team that's been known to win games by significant margins, and this 7-point spread is right at the cusp. The Seahawks have beaten the Seahawks are undefeated. they've beaten this number twice. They beat this number barely against the Miami Dolphins, and they beat this number in their opener against the Atlanta Falcons. They fell under this number against the New England Patriots, and I believe this number was tied pretty much against the Dallas Cowboys. So the Seahawks, even though they're undefeated, they're not blowing out teams. They're winning by probably the same margin as this spread. So that's something to keep in mind when you consider Cousins' difficulties. You have to balance out Cousins' difficulties playing away from the normal 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time slot that he's accustomed to, with the Seahawks' general inability to win by huge margins. So it should be an interesting Sunday night football game. I'll probably have some action on this game. If you want to follow all my bets, go to my Twitter handle of Ian Lazarin. You'll see every bet that I make, and you'll also get a chance to see how successful I've been. We've been running a little bit unlucky in the NFL over the last week. We got off to a hot start, but last weekend there was some regression. We had some bad luck, but we had some regression, some expected regression, I would say, nonetheless. The Monday Night Football game is between the Chargers and the Saints. The Chargers are 8-point underdogs. The over-under in this game is 50.5 points. I'm going to have a Sporting News article about this game out on Monday, so go check that out if you have time and when it becomes available. The Saints are understandably big favorites in this game. 8 points is a lot of points. The Chargers will be going with Justin Herbert for the rest of the season, and it's probably not a good idea for a rookie to be getting some action in the Superdome. I haven't heard anything about weather issues playing a role in this game being delayed, as it's a Monday night game. Hopefully, any hurricane issues will avoid that part, or not hit that part of Louisiana too hard. So I think that this is a game that the Saints are going to cover. They're going to get a pretty substantial win. The trend over the last couple of years with Drew Brees' team has been for the Saints to win by significant margins. The last season, when Teddy Bridgewater was their QB for a bit, some of their victory margins were quite small. But after Brees returned from his stint on the injury list, the Saints did end up winning games by significant margins, and they did end up covering a ton of games as well. So this is a game where I'll probably be laying the points with the Saints. And it's a game where probably the over is going to be hidden as well. But if you want to find out what I think and what the BetQL model has to say about the game, go check out the Sporting News on Monday for my article that will go through all the BetQL data, which includes information about how the sharps are betting the game, how the public's betting the game, the line movement in the game. It will also have BetQL data about how the model rates the spread, the first half spread, the money line, and full game total, and the first half total as well. If you don't want to wait for the Sporting News article and you want to get access to the model right now, go to betql.co, go check it out. Go check out the website. There's a wealth of information, free information available. But you can get 20% off any subscription by using the promo code of CHAN. So if you don't want to wait for the Sporting News article, go check out what the model has to say about the Chargers, Saints, and the Vikings and Seahawks. That information is available for you right now. Every sporting event in college football and the NFL is going to be the model is going to have a rating for that game. Go check it out right now. You can get access to the model right now by going to betql.co. Use the promo code CHAN and get 20% off. It looks like, at least at the time that we started this show, it looks like we will be getting a Game 6 in the NBA Finals. I didn't actually have any action in Game 5 at all. I was too demoralized by Tyler Hero's backdoor three-pointer at the end. I laid the points with the Lakers at 7 on Game 4, and Tyler Hero he kind of wrecked plans for us. I was too demoralized to bet Game 5. But it looks like, at least as of when the fourth quarter started, it looks like we are going to be getting a Game 6. So that's something to watch out for. But thank you for joining us this Friday evening. I wish you luck with your bets this weekend, unless you're betting the opposite side as me. But I wish you luck nonetheless. Stay safe. The Big Data Show will be back on Monday night at 8:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11:00 Eastern Standard Time. So we hope to see you back then again. I hope that the show has provided you with some data that you can use for any bet that you want to make this weekend. So good luck again, and thank you for joining us this evening. Until then, we'll see you on Monday night, but thanks for joining us.